Hello and welcome to Leroy Gaming, where today we're going to continue our coverage of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous with the beginning of our spellbook series. Now today we're going to be looking at the Witch. This is going to be video one of a two-part series. In this video, you're going to find the level 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 spells. There's going to be a separate video that you're going to also be able to find a link to this video in the future. That's going to cover the spell levels 5 through 9. Now, as with all my videos, since they are extensive, you're going to find extensive timestamps with in the description below. So please feel free to use those to get the most out of this video. Now, if you like the content I'm making here, you can keep it really nice and simple and just hit a like. That helps the channel tremendously. Now, with that all being covered, let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at the witch spells. Now, I want to point out an important thing about witches. They have a feature called curses, and depending on what curse you pick, you're going to get some bonus spells. Now, we're using the companion Ember as an example, and she has the blackened curse. So what this basically means that at a certain level, she's going to get some bonus spells that you're going to see in her spell book. So these are additional, and they will change depending on a curse. I just wanted to point that out so when we look at the different levels, you're not confused why they're there. And they may not be there if you create your own witch with a different curse. So, for example, she's going to be getting, right off the bat, Burning Hands. That's going to be added. At 5th level, we're going to be seeing Scorched Ray and Burning Arc. They're going to be added. At 10th level, at 15th level, she's going to get Hellfire Ray, and Fire Snake was back at 10th. So those kind of fire-based spells, when you see them, do note that those are going to be these bonus spells. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the level 0 spells. Now, these are basic spells that you can spam as much as you want. You're going to have Daze. Now, this targets one enemy combatant, 1 round with a will negation, and this spell clouds the mind of a humanoid creature with 4 fewer hit dice, so that it takes no action. Humanoids or of 5th or more hit die are not affected. So again, that is Daze, the very first spell. The next level 0 spell is going to be Resistance. Targets 1 friendly creature. You got to be touch range. Lasts 1 minute. And you imbue the subject with magical energy that protects it from harm, granting it a +1 resistance bonus on saves, and all saves there. Next, we have Guidance. 1 friendly creature can be targeted within touch range, lasts 1 minute or until discharged. Spell imbues the subject with a touch of divine guidance. The creature gets a +1 competence bonus on a single attack roll, saving throw, or skill check. Questionable how useful that is. Now we have Touch of Fatigue. This targets 1 enemy creature within a touch range. It lasts 1 round per level and has a Fortitude negates saving throw. You channel negative energy through your touch, fatiguing the target. You must succeed on a touch attack to strike the target. The subject is immediately fatigued for the spell's duration. This spell has no effect on a creature that is already fatigued. Unlike with normal fatigue, the effect ends as soon as the spell's duration expires. So you can't, there are other ways where you can basically go from fatigued to like exhausted, for example. So this does not apply to those rules. And then the final level 0 spell is going to be Light. So it's going to target 1 friendly creature within touch range. It lasts 10 minutes per level. And as a standard action, the spell causes a touch party member to glow like a torch, shedding normal light in a 20-foot radius from the point touched. Now, this is important. In the actual game, there are areas within the game that are quite dark, especially when you're underground. So this is kind of a nice convenient spell that you can cast. So you can increase your visibility if you don't have any other improved forms of generating light. So those are all the level 0 spells. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the level 1 witch spells. So your first option is Cure Light Wounds. It is a conjuration spell. Targets 1 friendly creature within touch range. Will halves if used to damage, so it can also target the undead. As a standard action, when laying your hands upon a living creature, you channel positive energy that cures 1d8 points of damage, +1 point per cast level, maximum of +5. Since undead are powered by negative energy, this spell deals damage to them instead of curing their wounds. Next, we're going to have Ear-Piercing Scream, an evocation spell that targets one enemy creature within close range. Lasts 1 round, Daze condition, and it has a Fortitude partial save. Now, as a standard action, you unleash a powerful scream, inaudible to all but a single target. Target is dazed for 1 round, and takes 1d6 points of sonic damage per 2 caster levels, maximum 5d6. A successful save negates the Daze effect and halves the damage. Next, we're going to have Mage Armor, a conjuration spell. Targets one friendly creature within touch range, and it lasts a whopping 1 hour per level. As a standard action, any invisible but tangible, an invisible but tangible field of force surrounds the subject of a Mage Armor spell, providing a +4 armor bonus to AC. Now, in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, there's also a mythic ability you can choose later in the game that will have the skill. Eventually, I believe you can get, at the very least, I believe at maximum level 10 mythic level, it would add, if I remember correctly, an additional 10 AC. So this could be worth up to 14 AC, I believe, if you pick that mythic ability. So this is already great for casters. It's only going to get better if you specialize in it. All right, next we're going to have Cause Fear. It is a necromancy spell targeting one enemy creature within close range. Duration is 1d4 rounds or 1 round. Will partial save. As a standard action, the affected creature becomes frightened. The subject succeeds at a will save. It is shaken for 1 round. Creatures with 6 or more hit die are immune to this effect. Cause Fear dispels remove fear. Next, we have Command, an enchantment spell. Targets one enemy creature within close range. Lasts 1 round with will negate save. Standard action, you give the subject a single command, which it obeys to the best of its ability at its earliest opportunity. You may select from the following options. Approach. On its turn, the subject moves towards you as quickly and directly as possible for 1 round. Creature may do nothing but move during its turn, and it provokes attacks of opportunity for the movement as normal. So you can literally force them to move towards you if they're engaged with like a melee combatant, and they're going to proc attacks of opportunity. Or if they're mid-cast, I guess you could keep them from casting. Next, we have Fall. On its turn, the subject falls to the ground and remains prone for 1 round. It may act normally while prone, but takes additional appropriate penalties. Flee. On its turn, the subject moves away from you as quickly as possible for 1 round. It may do nothing but move during its turn, and it provokes attacks of opportunity for this movement as normal. Halt. Subject stands in place for 1 round. It may not take any actions, but is not considered helpless. If the subject can't carry out your command on its next turn, the spell automatically fails. Next, we have Enlarge Person, a transmutation spell. Targets one friendly creature within close range. Lasts 1 minute per level. It takes a full round to cast. Spell causes instant growth of a humanoid creature, doubling its height and multiplying its weight by 8. The increase changes the creature's size category to the next larger one. Target gains a +2 sided bonus to strength, -2 size penalty to dexterity to a minimum of 1, and a -1 penalty to attack rolls and AC due to its increased size. Melee and ranged weapons used by this creature deal more damage, so it's going to upscale them by 1 size tier, which can make a big difference. A humanoid creature whose size increases to large has a space of 10 feet and a natural reach of 10 feet. This spell does not change the target's speed. Enlarged Person dispels Reduced Person. And this is important because that extra reach helps with additional attacks of opportunity, for example. Next, Hypnotism. And this is an enchantment spell. It impacts all enemies within 30-foot burst centered on a target point within close range. So again, does not impact allies. You can go into a nice big cluster of enemies and allies. It lasts 2d4 rounds and will negates. As a full round action, your gestures and droning incantation fascinate nearby living creatures, causing them to stop and stare blankly at you in a dazed condition. Roll 2d4 to see how many total hit die of creatures you affect. So there's obviously a random component to that element of how effective it's going to be, and they can also still negate. So a little harder to land sometimes than you would think. Next, we have Inflict Light Wounds, a necromancy spell. It affects one creature within touch range, so you got to get right up and close to them to do this, and will have save if used to damage. Standard action, you lay your hands upon a creature, channel negative energy that deals 1d8 points of damage plus 1 point per caster level, maximum plus 5. And now, since undead are powered by negative energy, the spell cures them the same amount of damage rather than harming them. Next, we have Ray of Enfeeblement, another necromancy spell. Target is one enemy creature within close range, and it's going to last 1 round per level. Fortitude halves the strength penalty. So, as a standard action, Coruscating Ray springs from your hand. I'm pretty sure I totally mispronounced that. Coruscanting or Coruscanting? No idea. You must succeed on a ranged touch attack to strike a target. The subject takes a penalty to their strength equal to 1d6 plus 1 per 2 caster levels, maximum 1d6 plus 5. The subject's strength score cannot drop below 1. A successful fortitude save reduces this penalty by half. The penalty does not stack with itself. Apply the highest penalty instead. So this can, obviously lower an enemy's not only damage they're doing to you, but also likeliness to hit when it comes to melee attacks. Next, we have Ray of Sickening, another necromancy spell. Targets one enemy creature within close range and lasts 1 minute per level with a fortitude negates save. Standard action, subject is immediately sickened for the spell's duration. Successful fortitude save negates the effect completely. Next, we have Reduce Person, another transmutation spell. Targets one friendly creature within close range, lasts 1 minute per level. Now, as a full round, spell causes instant diminution. Basically makes a humanoid creature small, having its height, length, and width, and dividing its weight by 8. Decrease changes the creature's size category and the next smaller ones. The target is a +2 size bonus to dexterity, -2 penalty to strength to a minimum of 1, and a +1 bonus on attack rolls and AC due to its reduced size. Melee and ranged weapons used by this creature deal less damage, so there's definitely a trade-off there. And a small humanoid creature whose size decreases to tiny has a space of 2.5 feet and a natural reach of 0 feet, meaning it must enter an opponent's square to attack. That's fascinating. A large humanoid creature whose size decreases to medium has a space of 5 feet and a natural reach of 5 feet. The spell doesn't change the target's speed, and it dispels Enlarge Person. Next, we have Remove Sickness, which is a conjuration spell. One friendly creature is targeted within close range, and it lasts 10 minutes per level. The standard action, you quell feelings of illness and nausea in the target, giving it a +4 morale bonus on saving throws against disease, nausea, and sickened effects. If the subject is already under the influence of one of these effects when receiving the spell, that effect is suppressed for the duration of the spell. Next, we have Sleep, an enchantment spell. And it targets all enemies within 10-foot burst, centered on a target point within medium range. Again, don't have to worry about targeting allies. So go ahead and cast it onto those clusters. Lasts 1 minute per level. With will negates save. As a full round, you sleep spell. A sleep spell causes a magical slumber to come upon 4 HD of creatures. And those who are closest to the spell point of origin are affected first. HD that are not sufficient to affect the creature are wasted. What that basically means is, let's say you're fighting 3 level 1 creatures and a level 2 creatures. Because you have only 4, let's say it impacted the 3 level 1s for some reason, and it didn't have 2 to cast on the last one, it would waste that point. But it should. So sleeping creatures are helpless. I want to see, does it state? Okay, so it's all about, I was going to see if it targeted the basically highest level creatures, but it's not. It's all about vicinity. So you're going to want to probably target a higher level creature so that you get them to go to sleep if you can. Otherwise, you could have snare like that where these level goes to waste when they didn't need to. So sleeping creatures are helpless. Wounding awakens an affected creature, but normal noise does not. Sleep does not target unconscious creatures, constructs, or undead creatures. That's important so you don't get a wasted HD when those things cannot be put to sleep. Next, we have Snowball, Conjuration Spell, targeting one enemy creature within close range, and it lasts 1 round, staggered condition. Now, Fortitude negates staggered condition. As a standard action, you conjure a ball of packed ice and snow. They can throw at a single target as a ranged touch attack. The snowball deals 1d6 points of cold damage per caster level, maximum 5d6 on a successful hit. That's a pretty hard snowball. And the target must succeed a Fortitude saving throw or be staggered for 1 round. Must be like an icicle snowball or something. Next, we have Summon Monster 1. It's a conjuration spell. Target point within close range. Lasts 1 round per level. Full round action. The spell summons 1 extraplanar dog. It appears where you designate and act according to its initiative check results. It attacks your opponent to the best of its ability, so you have no control over where it moves and attacks. Next, we have Unbreakable Heart, an enchantment spell. Targets 1 friendly creature within close range. Lasts 1 round per level. As a standard action, target creature gains a +4 morale bonus on saving throws against mind affecting effects that rely on negative emotions, such as crushing despair, rage, or fear effects, or that would force them to harm an ally, such as confusion. If the target is already under such an effect when receiving the spell, that effect is suppressed for the duration of the spell. It does not affect mind-affecting effects based on positive emotions, such as Good Hope or Inspire Courage Bard abilities. Okay. Burning Hands, these are the other ones we already have listed. So, and again, as a reminder, Burning Hands in this case is something that was granted by this specific witch's curse choice. So your witch may or may not have the ability. So that concludes the level 1 witch spells. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at the level 2 witch spells. So we're going to go ahead and begin with Blindness. It's a necromancy spell. Targets 1 enemy creature within medium range. Now, this is a standard action, and you call upon the powers of unlife to render the subject blinded. The next spell is going to be Boneshaker. So it's going to target 1 enemy creature within medium range. It has a saving throw of Fortitude to do half damage. It is a standard action. You take control of a target living creature skeleton. A creature has its skeleton rattle within its flesh, causing it grievous harm. Target takes 3d6 points of damage plus 1d6 additional points of damage per 2 caster levels. Next, we're going to have Cure Major Wounds. Conjuration Spell targets 1 friendly creature within touch range. So saving throw will half if used to do damage. It's a standard action. When laying your hands upon a living creature, you channel positive energy that cures 2d8 points of damage plus 1 point per caster level, maximum of plus 10. Now, since undead are powered by negative energy, this spell deals damage to them instead of curing their wounds. An undead creature can apply spell resistance and can attempt a save to take half damage. Next, we have Delay Poison. This targets 1 friendly creature within touch range. It lasts 1 hour per level. Standard action. Subject becomes temporarily immune to poison. Any poison in its system or any poison to which it is exposed during the spell's duration Does not affect the subject until the spell duration has expired. Delay poison does not cure any damage that poison may have already done. So it's got a real nice long duration here. So now you're going to be going against a lot of poisonous enemies. This is something you could potentially precast. Next we have False Life, another necromancy spell. It is a personal spell targeting yourself, lasts 1 hour per level. As a standard action, you harness the power of Unlife to grant yourself a limited ability to avoid death. While the spell is in effect, you gain temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus 1 per caster level, maximum of plus 10. Next, we have Fester. And so with Fester, we're going to, this is a necromancy spell, targets one creature within close range. Notice it can be either ally or enemy, and it has a fortitude partial saving throw if it's against an enemy. Lasts 1 round per level or 1 round. Necrotic energy permeates the target, blocking healing abilities. Subject gains spell resistance equal to 12 plus your caster level against effects that restore hit points or grant temporary hit points. If the target succeeds on a fortitude saving throw, Fester lasts only a single round. Next, we're going to have Find Traps, which is a divination spell. It's a personal spell that lasts 1 minute per level. Standard action. You gain intuitive insight into the workings of traps. You gain an insight bonus equal to 1/2 your caster level, maximum plus 10, on perception checks while the spell is in effect. Next, we're going to have Glitterdust. Now, this affects all creatures within a 10-foot burst centered on a target pointed within medium range. So note, this will impact allies as well as enemies. Will negates blinding portion only. It's a standard action. A cloud of golden particles cover everyone and everything in the area, causing creatures to become blinded and visibly outlining invisible things for the duration of the spell. All within the area are covered by the dust, which cannot be removed and continues to sparkle until it fades. Each round at the end of their turn, blinded creatures may attempt new saving throws to end the blindness effect. Any creature covered by the dust takes a -40 penalty on stealth checks. All right, next we have Hold Person. Enchantment spell. Targets one enemy creature within medium range and will negates. And you get a chance to save each round, as this lasts 1 round per level. Now, it's a standard action. The subject becomes paralyzed and freeze in place. It is aware and breathes normally, but cannot take any action, even speech. Each round, the subject may attempt a new saving throw to end the effect. Next, we have Inflict Moderate Wounds, a necromancy spell. One creature within touch range, ally or enemy. Saving throw of will half if used to damage. Now, casting time it's a standard action. When laying your hands upon a creature, you channel negative energy that deals 2d8 points of damage plus 1 point per caster level, maximum of plus 10. And since undead are powered by negative energy, the spell cures such a creature of a like amount of damage rather than harming it. So this is kind of the reverse of cure. Heal the undead or damage the living. Next we have Molten Orb, an evocation spell, and it targets all creatures, again allies and enemies, within a 5-foot burst centered on a target creature within close range. Saving throw of reflex halves the splash damage. And it's a standard action. You create a fist-sized red-hot ball of molten metal that you immediately hurl as a splash weapon. A direct hit deals 2d6 points of fire damage, so that's whoever you target. Every creature within 5 feet of where the ball hits takes 1d6 points of fire damage from the splash. Reflex save for half damage. Each of these creatures take an additional 1d6 points of fire damage each round for the next 1d3 rounds. Next we have Pernicious Poison, a necromancy spell that targets one enemy within touch range. Lasts 10 minutes per level. And so it's a standard action. You weaken the target's defenses against poison. The target gains a -4 penalty on saves against poison. Attempts to cure the poison target take a -4 penalty. Next, we have Pox Postules, another necromancy spell. Targets one enemy creature within close range. It lasts 1 minute per level and Fortitude negates. It's a standard action, and you inflict a painful itching rash on the target creature. The target is sickened and takes a -4 penalty to dexterity. This penalty cannot lower the dexterity below 0. Next, another necromancy spell, Scare. This affects all enemies within a 30-foot burst centered on a target creature within medium range. So this does not impact allies. It lasts 1 round per level or 1 round of a will partial save. It's a standard action. And all targeted living creatures of less than 6 hit die become frightened. If a creature succeeds a will save, it is instead shaken for 1 round. Creatures with 6 or more hit die are immune to this effect. Scare dispels remove fear. Next, we have See Invisibility, a divination spell. Personal effect, 10 minutes per level duration. As a standard action, you can see any object or being that are invisible within your range of vision. So you're going up against a bunch of invisible monsters, potentially. This could help out quite a bit. Then we have Summon Monster 2, which is a conjuration spell. Target point within close range. It lasts 1 round per level. So it doesn't last very long early on, but it does scale. And takes a full round to do this. And the spell summons an extraplanar wolf or 1d3 extraplanar dogs. You have a choice. It literally creates 2 different buttons you can click. The summoned monsters appear where you designate and act accordingly to their initiative check results. They attack your opponents to the best of their ability, which just means that they're going to auto attack and target. They're not going to, you don't have direct control over where they go and what they do. And the final level 2 spell is going to be Web. So this is a conjuration spell. It targets all creatures within 20-foot burst centered on a target point within long range. So it's long range, but it will again impact enemies and friends. Lasts 1 minute per level. Reflex partial save. As a standard action, Web creates a many-layered mass of strong, sticky strands. These strands strap those caught in them. The strands are similar to spider webs, but far larger and tougher. Creatures caught within the web become grappled by the sticky fibers. So anyone in the effect area when the spell is cast must make a reflex save. If the save succeeds, the creature is inside the web but is otherwise unaffected. If they fail, the creature gains the grappled condition but can break free by making a combat maneuver check, athletic check, or mobility check as a standard action against the DC of this spell. The entire area of the web is considered difficult terrain. Anyone moving through the web must make a reflex save each round. Creatures that fail lose their movement and become grappled in the first square of webbing that they enter. So those are all of the level 2 witch spells. All right, next we're going to look at the level 3 witch spells. So we're going to begin with Bestow Curse, which is a necromancy spell. Targets one enemy creature within touch range. It is a permanent duration and will negates. So it's a standard action. And you're going to place a curse on the subject. Choose one of the following. Curse of the Feeble Body. The subject suffers -6 penalty to Constitution score. Curse of Weakness. Subject suffers -6 penalty to Strength and Dexterity score. Curse of Idiocy. Subject suffers -6 penalty to Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma scores. And Curse of Deterioration. Subject suffers a -4 penalty on attack rolls, saves, ability checks, and skill checks. Very, very powerful. You do have to be in melee range. But again, it's permanent unless they use a Remove Curse spell to get rid of that. So quite effective. Next, we have Cure Serious Wounds, a conjuration spell. Targets one friendly creature within touch range. Saving throw will half if used to damage. Standard action. When laying your hands upon a living creature, you channel positive energy that cures 3d8 points of damage, plus 1 point per caster level, maximum plus 15. And then since undead are powered by negative energy, the spell deals damage to them instead of curing them. An undead creature can apply spell resistance and can attempt a will save to take half damage. Next, we have Deep Slumber. It targets all enemies within 10-foot burst, centered on the target point within close range. So again, does not impact allies, lasts 1 minute per level. Will negates as a full round. The spell functions like sleep, except it affects 10 hit die of targets. And for reference, a sleep spell causes magical slumber to come upon in this updated format 10 HDs of creatures. And those who are closest to the spell point of origin are affected first. HDs that are not sufficient to affect a creature are wasted. Sleeping creatures are helpless. Wounding awakens an affected creature, but normal noise does not. Sleep does not target unconscious creatures, constructs, or undead creatures. And again, when it comes to those wasting spells, so if you, for example, targeted in an area a level 5 creature and a level 6 creature, and let's say the level 5 is closest, that one would get affected potentially, but since the other one is 6 and you only have 5 left, then all those level effects go to waste, and the second one does not get impacted. Next, we have Dispel Magic, an Abjuration spell. It targets one creature within medium range, friend or foe. And so standard action, you can use Dispel Magic to end one ongoing spell that has been cast on a creature or one area effect from a spell in the selected point. Next, we have Heroism, an enchantment spell. Targets one friendly creature within touch range. It lasts 10 minutes per level. And so, standard action spell imbues a single creature with great bravery and morale in battle. Target gains a +2 bonus on attack rolls, saves, and skill checks. Famous and quite potent spell. Next, we have Inflict Serious Wounds. It's a necromancy spell. Targets one creature within touch range. Will halves if used to damage. Standard action. When laying your hands upon a creature, you channel negative energy. That deals 3d8 points of damage, +1 point per caster level. Maximum +15. Since undead are powered by negative energy, this spell cures such a creature of a like amount of damage rather than harming it. Next, we have Lightning Bolt. It is an evocation spell. It targets all creatures along a 120-foot line. So friend and foe, be careful. Reflex half has a reflex half save. As a standard action, release a powerful stroke of electrical energy that deals 1d6 points of electricity damage per caster level, maxes at 10d6 to each creature within its area. The bolt begins at your fingertip. Next, we have Nature's Exile, a transformation spell. It targets one enemy creature within touch range and will negates. Standard action, spell curses the creature touch, making it inimical to the natural world. All animals have an initial attitude of hostile towards the target. If the target has an animal companion, it does not become hostile, but as long as the target remains cursed, their animal companion takes a -2 penalty on all attack rolls, skill checks, and saving throws. Target also takes a -10 penalty on lower nature skill checks, as the weather and environment themselves seem to conspire to cause trouble. Nature's Exile can be removed with Break Enchantment, Limited Wish, Miracle, Remove Curse, or Wish. Alright, next we have Rage, an enhancement spell, or enchantment spell rather. Targets all allies within 30-foot burst, centered on target creature within medium range. Rounds last 1 round per level. So standard action, each affected creature gains a +2 morale bonus to strength and constitution, a +1 morale bonus on will saves, and a -2 penalty to AC. The effect is otherwise identical with a barbarian's rage, except that the subjects aren't fatigued at the end of the rage. While in rage, the subject cannot use spells. Now it's very important. At level 1, all your characters get a button on your bars that basically is a toggle, whether you accept rage or not, from when it's cast by a friendly creature. So if you have a caster and you don't care about these melee bonuses, but you definitely want to be casting, make sure you toggle that off so you don't accidentally rage as a caster. Next, we have Ray of Exhaustion, a necromancy spell with a target of one creature within close range, so friend or foe. Lasts 1 minute per level. Standard action, a black ray projects from your pointing finger. You must succeed on a ranged touch attack with the ray to strike a target. The subject is immediately exhausted for the spell's duration. A successful fortitude save means the creature is only fatigued. A character that is already fatigued becomes as well exhausted. The spell has no effect on a creature that is already exhausted. Unlike normal exhaustion or fatigue, the effect ends as soon as the spell duration expires. And again, that's pretty long, 1 minute per level. Next, we have Remove Blindness. Conjuration spell. Targets one friendly creature within touch range. Standard action, removes blindness, cures blindness, whether the effect is normal or magical in nature. Next, we have Remove Curse. It's an abjuration spell. It targets one friendly creature within touch range. Standard action, removes a curse. Remove curse can remove all curses on an object or creature. The target is a creature. You must make a caster level check. 1d20 plus caster level against the DC of each curse affecting the target. Success means that the curse is removed. Next, we have Remove Disease. It's a conjuration spell and targets one friendly creature within touch range. As a standard action, Remove Disease can cure all diseases from which the subject is suffering. You must make a caster level check 1d20 plus caster level against the DC of each disease affecting the target. Success means the disease is removed. Next, we have Spit Venom. It's a transmutation spell and targets one enemy creature within close range. And it has a fortitude partial save. As a standard action, you spit a stream of venom at a target using a ranged touch attack. If the venom hits, it causes blindness for 1 round. The target must also save or be poisoned by black adder venom. The DC in successive rounds of the poison is equal to the spell's DC. Okay, next we have Stinking Cloud, Conjuration Spell. It targets all creatures within 20-foot burst, centering on target point within medium range. So again, impacts enemies and friends. It lasts 1 round per level, and Fortitude negates. Now, it's a standard action, and Stinking Cloud creates a bank of fog like that created by Fog Cloud, except that the vapors are nauseating. Living creatures in the cloud become nauseated. This condition lasts for as long as the creature is in the cloud, and for 1d4 plus 1 rounds after it leaves. You roll separately for each nauseated character. Any creature that succeeds on a save but remains in the cloud must continue to save each round. This is a poison effect. Then we have Summon Monster 3, Conjuration Spell, targets a point within close range, lasts 1 round per level. As a full action, spell summons an extraplanar monitor lizard, or 1d3 extraplanar wolves, or 1d4 plus 1 extraplanar dogs. Summon monsters appear when you designate and act according to initiative check results. They attack your opponent to the best of their ability. So again, you cannot directly control the creatures. And finally, there is Vampiric Touch, a necromancy spell. Targets one enemy creature within touch range. It lasts temporary hit points. They last 1 hour. So standard action, you must succeed on a melee touch attack. Your touch deals 1d6 points of damage per 2 caster level, maxing at 10d6. You gain temporary hit points equal to the damage you deal. Temporary hit points disappear 1 hour later. So those are all of the level 3 witch spells. Okay, finally, we're going to go ahead and take a look at level 4 witch spells. We're going to begin with Cape of Wasps. It's a conjuration spell, personal range. Lasts 1 round per level. Standard action, you summon a wasp swarm, which does not attack you. Dense Cloud of Vermin gives you partial concealment against ranged attacks. Any creature that makes a successful melee attack against you takes 2d6 points of swarm damage and poison from the wasp swarm, but it is not affected by the swarm's distractional ability. So, partial concealment, I believe that's 20% chance to miss potentially. I could be wrong on that. I could be mixing up two different things. But that is an important thing. So you get the partial concealment and the damage effect. Next, you have Confusion, an enchantment spell. It targets all creatures within 15-foot burst. Send on a target pointing with the medium range, so do be careful. This impacts friends and enemies. Lasts 1 round per level and will negates. Standard action, spell causes confusion to the target, making them unable to determine their actions. So the game's going to roll a d100 and consult the following table to start each subject's turn, see what it does. If the game rolls a 1 to 25, it acts normally. 26 to 50 does nothing but babbles incoherently. 51 to 75 deals 1d8 points of damage plus strength modifier to self with item in hand, so they smack themselves. And if it rolls a 76 to 100, attacks nearest creature. For this purpose, a familiar counts as part of the subject's self. So basically means you're not going to hit a familiar. So you're going to be hitting friend or foe, whoever is the closest. Next, we have Crushing Despair, an enchantment spell. It targets all creatures within a 30-foot count, so friend and foe. Lasts 1 minute per level and will negates. Standard action, an invisible cone of despair causes great sadness in the subjects. Each affected creature takes a -2 penalty on attack rolls, saving throws, ability checks, skill checks, and weapon damage rolls. Crushing Despair dispels good hope. Oh, that's sad. Cure Critical Wounds is next. Conjuration Spell. Target one friendly creature within touch range and will it's got a will save for half damage if used 2 damage. Now, it's a standard action. When laying your hands upon a living creature, channel positive energy that cures 48 points of damage plus 1 point per level. Caster level, maximum plus 20. Since undead are powered by negative energy, spell deals damage to them instead of curing them. An undead creature can apply spell resistance and can attempt a will saving throw to take half damage. Next, we have Death Ward. It's a necromancy spell. Targets one friendly creature within touch range. Lasts 1 minute per level. The standard action, subject gains a +4 morale bonus on saves against all death spells and magical death effects. Subject is immune to energy drain and any negative energy effects, including channeled negative energy. This spell does not remove negative levels, and the subject has already gained levels that the subject has already gained, and does not protect against other sorts of attacks, even if those attacks might be lethal. Next, we have Dimensional Door. Conjuration Spell. Targets point within long range. So, standard action, you instantaneously transfer yourself from your current location to any other spot within range. You may also bring with you all friendly creatures within 10-foot radius around you. So that's big, no limits. And basically, AoE teleport. Next, we have Enervation, which is a necromancy spell. You target one enemy creature within close range and lasts 1 hour per level. As a standard action, you point your finger and fire a black ray of negative energy that suppresses the life force of any living creature it strikes. You must make a range attack, touch attack to hit. If you hit, the subject gains 1d4 temporary negative levels. So that's like up to 4. Basically, de-level somebody by 4 temporary. That's huge. Negative level stack. Assuming the subject survives, it regains lost levels after a number of hours equal to your casting level. So maximum 15 hours. Usually negative levels have a chance of becoming permanent, but the negative levels from Enervation don't last long enough to do that. An undead creature struck by the ray gains 1d4 times 5 temporary hit points for 1 hour. Next, Greater False Life, Necromancy Spell. It is a personal spell, lasts 1 hour per level. As a standard action, spell functions as false life, except you gain temporary hit points equal 2d10 plus 1 point per caster level, maximum plus 20. Next, we have Fear, Necromancy Spell. It targets all creatures within a 30-foot count, so friend or foe. Lasts 1 round per level with a will partial save. Standard action. Invisible Cone of Terror causes each living creature in the area to become frightened unless it succeeds at a will save. If the will save succeeds, the creature is shaken for 1 round. Next, we have Ice Storm, an evocation spell. It targets all creatures within a 40-foot burst centered on a target pointed within long range. Again, targets friends and foes. Be careful. And it lasts 1 round per level. As a standard action, Great Magical Hailstones pound down upon casting the spell, dealing 3d6 points of bludgeon damage and 2d6 points of cold damage to every creature in the area. This damage only occurs once when the spell is cast. For the remainder duration of the spell, heavy snow and sleet rains down in the area. Creatures inside the area take a -4 penalty on perception skill checks, and the entire area is treated as difficult terrain. At the end of the duration, the snow and hail disappears, leaving no after effects other than the damage dealt. Then we have Inflict Critical Wounds, Necromancy Spell, and it targets 1 creature within touch range, and will halves if used to damage. So as a standard action, when laying your hands upon a creature, you channel negative energy that deals 48 points of damage, plus 1 point per caster level, maximum plus 20. Since undead are powered by negative energy, the spell cures those creatures instead. Then we have another really famous Pathfinder spell, Phantasmal Killer, an illusion spell, and targets 1 enemy creature within medium range, will partial saves. Standard action. Create a phantasmal image of the most fearsome creature imaginable to the subject simply by forming the fears of the subject's subconscious mind into something that its conscious mind can visualize. This most horrible beast. Only the spell's subject can see the phantasmal killer. You see only a vague shape. The target first gets a will save to recognize the image as unreal. If that save fails, the phantasmal touches the subject. The subject must succeed at a fortitude save or die from fear. Even if the fortitude save is successful, the subject takes 3d6 points of damage. Next, we have Summon Monster 4, a conjuration spell with target point within close range, lasts 1 round per level. So as a full round action, the spell summons an extraplanar direwolf, 1d3 extraplanar monitor lizards, or 1d4 plus 1 extraplanar wolves. Summon monsters appear where you designate and act according to your initiative. Check results. You attack your opponents to the best of their ability. So again, you do not control their movement or actions directly. Next, we have Symbol of Revelation. It is a divination spell. Very important. It has a material component of 20 diamond dusts. Target is a target point within long range and lasts 10 minutes per level. It's a standard action. This rune is only activated by invisible creatures, creatures affected by an illusion effect, creatures with a shape-changing subtype, or creatures that have magically changed their shape. Creatures are under effect of Fairy Fire spell. This effect lasts for 10 minutes per caster level. Symbol does not otherwise reveal their true form. Once triggered, a Symbol of Revelation remains active for 10 minutes per caster level. And what is Fairy Fire? Well, a pall goes surrounding the outline of the subject. Outline subjects shed light as candles. Creatures outlined by Fairy Fire take a -20 penalty on all stealth checks. Outline creatures do not benefit from concealment normally provided by darkness, though a second level or higher magical darkness effect functions normally. blur, displacement, invisibility, or similar effects. The light is too dim to have any special effect on undead or dark dwelling creatures vulnerable to light. Then we have Touch of Slime, which is a conjuration spell. Target one enemy creature within touch range, has a Fortitude negate save. Standard action, you create a coat of slime on your hand. When you make a successful melee touch attack with the slime, it pulls free of you and sticks to the target, at which point it acts like a green slime, dealing 1d3 points of constitution damage per round. Rough. Freezing, burning, and remove disease destroyed the slime. It cannot transfer to creature other than the original target, and it dies if separated from the original target or if the target dies. Only a living creature can be target of the spell. Wow, that's very interesting. I could see this being quite good. Just be careful, big tough creatures with lots of constitution, high fortitude saves. This is not so good for those, but for the squishy little casters, maybe that could be good. And then finally, we have Volcanic Storm. Now, this targets all creatures, and I'm not 100% sure whether this is one. This sounds like a spell that you... Oh, no, you would have to select, so this is not... This should not be an automatic spell that the witch gets. So with this one, Volcanic Storm, it's an evocation spell that targets all creatures within a 40-foot burst. Center on target point within long range. It lasts 1 round per level. And as a standard action, chunks of hot volcanic rock and clumps of ash pound down when the spell is cast, dealing 3d6 points of bludgeon damage and 2d6 points of fire damage to every creature in the area. Damage only occurs once when the spell is cast. For the remaining duration of spell, heavy ash rains down the area. Creatures inside the area take a -4 penalty on perception checks, and the entire area is treated as difficult terrain. At the end of the duration, the rocks and the ash disappear, leaving no after effect other than the damage that had been dealt. All right, so that concludes the level 4 spells for the Witch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Again, look forward to my next video. We're going to be looking for the level 5 to 9 spells. Now, if, again, you watch all the way through or you're enjoying this content, as always, a like is appreciated. And if you are interested in seeing more Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous content, as well as other RPG and RPG hybrid related videos, make sure to subscribe. Again, this is Leroy with Leroy Gaming, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video.